I'm gonna read you something from my journal. What? She's crazy. I know. This is June 4th of 2025, and I'm a month into the artist way. And I write, I'm curious why I keep coming back to YouTube when it is what I fear the most. I think it's just because I love the medium. So how did we go from saying YouTube is the thing I fear the most to you watching this on YouTube a year later? And more importantly, how did I go from saying that to posting my first video a month later? I was really excited to sit down and make this video about how it feels to post on YouTube. As someone who really put themselves in the camp of people who thought I would never in a million years do something like this. And now it's been a year and I've got notes. I want to explain my little YouTube journey thus far to those who are interested in my channel. And then I want to touch on all the weird little side effects that come from beginning to share online. And finally, I want to give my 2 cents to people who want to start a channel but are scared, or have a small channel they're trying to grow. So before we start, I feel like it's really important for me to say I've always been a lover of YouTube. I was born in the 90s in the Bay Area, so me and my friends would go to someone's house and go on their family computer and watch like the dumbest, silliest DIY YouTube videos, and people would have to recall them by name. And I just loved that it was a place for humor and creativity, and I never stopped watching. And now it is one of my main forms of media consumption. I love that it's a place for humans to connect directly and share their lives. I've learned so much from YouTubers I love, like the fact that women can do construction, because of course they can, but it's still really cool to see it. And they've taught me that, you know what, it's okay that you're a loner and you go thrifting by yourself on the weekends, because really cool people do that too, and you admire them. And that there are different ways to think about the relationship between your work, your money, and the larger economic system. So I've just learned so much from different YouTubers, and then I found myself watching endless hours of interior design YouTube and learning so much from people, but also wishing that there was somebody with my exact taste and my exact budget creating content. Then I thought, you know, who has my exact taste and my exact budget? Me. I was doing the artist's way, which is essentially a book and artistic practice that has a few activities you're supposed to do. 1, you journal 3 pages every day, and 2, you take yourself on like a solo date once a week. In that journaling practice, I just kept finding myself coming back to YouTube, and I think it's important when you find a lot of fear or jealousy around a subject to take a closer look, because sometimes there's something deeper under the surface there. And I think for me, it was a real desire to try. And so the thing that liberated me to try was like, I'm just not going to tell anyone. I'm just going to give it a whirl, give it the old college try. So I didn't tell anyone, not even my partner, Austin, because he was like traveling. And that was really freeing. And it was so thrilling to post something for the first time and see like one person view it and like it. I felt really alive. And just, I felt like I was, you know, stealing from the cookie jars, as they say. Does that make any sense? I felt like I was stealing from the cookie jar because people didn't know what I was doing. And then there's this YouTuber who has this course, and I'm not trying to sell you a course, but basically the way it works is you pay $300, and then if you post 7 videos, then they'll give you the $300 back. And you're essentially just like blackmailing yourself. And I know that that's not how blackmail works, and it's not actually blackmail. Gotta be careful what you say online, but it felt like blackmail. That level of accountability kept me pushing through the slug of the very beginning. And I think the more people who are watching or subscribing, I find the less confident I get in what I'm doing, and I start to question what people might want to see or the quality of what I'm making. But the thing that I've found has been really helpful to me is to just focus on what one viewer wants, one person, and that one viewer is me. What video would I want to watch? That's what I've been trying to make. So for example, I wanted to watch a Sea Ranch video that felt like a girl gab sesh showing you around a house. Like that was my perfect Sea Ranch video. So that's what I tried to make. And I was like, I know some people are not going to get this, but some people did. And that's fun. And I think it gives me a sense of trust to know, okay, I'm going to leave that joke in there because I think it's funny. And this is my channel. I can do whatever I want. So making videos for a viewer of one is the only thing that makes sense to my brain, because I appreciate that there are people out there and I feel really encouraged by that. But I just also like, I don't understand a one-sided relationship like that. I have not been able to reckon with the fact that I don't get to know who you are, but you kind of get to know who I am. I don't think we were built for this. So enough about me. What are some funny side effects of posting on YouTube as someone who has never posted on a public social media platform before? One, I stopped online shopping. And I didn't even notice until like 4 months in. But then I thought, I've been doing that. I think one is because I got busier. And two, it was because I was having a creative itch scratched that maybe was previously fed by online shopping for clothes and things like that. But I thought that was interesting. Another one is that I experienced true creative jealousy, maybe for like the first time in my life. When I say that, I mean seeing another creator that's just doing their thing so flawlessly.
Girl, you have done it again, constantly raising the bar for us all and doing it flawlessly.
They have their style. They know what they're doing. The editing is interesting. It's just like their own touch. I'm so new to this that it makes sense that I've not reached their level, but it's an interesting feeling. And I try to let it fuel me in like a positive way. Another one is I've become a much better participant on social media. So before I used to always subscribe, but I would never comment. I would never even like a video. As a creator, you're like, oh my gosh, it's so nice when people do that. It's like the only information you have that there are real people out there. But yeah, I just never thought. I had these long, complicated parasocial relationships with people. Never liked it, never left a comment. So now I understand that that stuff is not only valuable for the algorithm, it's valuable to the person. So I just, especially if I see things with very minimal comments, I'm always leaving comments on TikTok and sometimes on YouTube. That's been a point of growth, is realizing the humanity in the people who are creating, and that they, of course, read them. I read all my comments, obviously. And then this one's a little more abstract. It's just a simple idea that hit me in a deeper way, which I feel like a lot of big realizations are just that. It's like something simple finally getting through to you. One of the reasons people think that posting on the internet is cringy is because there's an implication that those who share are the knowers and those who watch are the receivers of information. And there's some sort of hierarchy there. And so if you were to share, you must think that you know it all, or you must think you're some expert. And if you're not, it's embarrassing, right? And I think by sharing what little I do know, I really come to understand that everyone, including experts and your babysitter and your friend's mom, they all just have 24 hours in the day to take in new information. And there's like so much information out there. And then everybody filters it through their own lens and perspective. And if you're willing to distill that information with your lens attached and share it with other people, people are very appreciative. And it really doesn't matter who you are. It's just we're all bombarded with so much information that it's interesting to hear one person's experience of it. And so there are no knowers and receivers of information. Like, we are all knowers and sharers, which of course we are. But this is what I'm saying. It's a simple idea, but it really hit me. And that's why I don't think it's cringy to share, because most people aren't willing to. And so people appreciate when you do. It's really who's willing to film and edit and do this if they want to. That's how I've explained to myself why anybody cares about my videos. It's just they appreciate my POV and that I'm taking the time to edit it and put it out there. In a lot of ways, it's what separates us from the animals, right? Okay, I'm gonna get some animal people in my comments, but I get it. Orcas can talk. Humans, we love to share information socially. It's like woven into the fabric of us. And so doing that feels good. You're going to be like, did she take an edible before this? I did not. Okay, and then the last one, the last little side effect is getting better at 20 different tiny skills. Like YouTube, you are a solo video production agency. You come into it with none of these skills, and then you're developing them all at the same time at varying rates. So writing, editing, speaking on camera, lighting. But the deeper I got into it, the more I realized that the main skill of YouTube is storytelling. And if you can harness that skill and develop it, people will be interested in what you have to say because we're hardwired for stories. So that's what I've been trying to work on as well, is like that skill alongside all the other skills. But it's fun to learn new things. And I think if nothing ever comes to this channel and it just ends, I'm sure I will take with me something I've learned. One of these skills will be good for me at some point in my life. Part 3, some advice, my 2 cents on YouTubing. If you want to start and you're scared what people will think, I think the primary thing that they feel is that they don't care. Like, put it this way. How much time do you spend thinking about your friends' hobbies? Probably not that much. How much time do you spend thinking about your acquaintances' hobbies? Maybe even less. So they might think about it for 2 seconds. They might watch a video, and then they might keep watching if they actually care about the subject material. But for the most part, people are worried about their own lives, and you're just doing your thing, having a hobby. It's cool. It's cool to have hobbies. I found there were certain conventions of YouTube that I'd picked up that you don't really have to follow. For one, the idea that you need to post every week. I think it's common convention that to grow on YouTube, you should post weekly, and to grow on TikTok, you should post daily. And that's just not going to happen with a full-time job and a life and planning a wedding and hobbies and friends, whatever. I just decided to post whenever I could, the best thing I could make at the time. And I think that has been fine. YouTube has not punished me for that. Another one is that I feel like there's a convention that you're supposed to like introduce yourself in videos. Be like, hey guys, I'm Lauren and my channel's about this. And I just couldn't bring myself to do it. I just felt like it was cringy, which says more about me than I should be able to introduce myself, but I just didn't want to. And I also think that hasn't had a negative effect on my channel. People have figured out who I am. Another thing I did that I think was effective was editing myself ruthlessly. Like cutting so much extra blabber and trying to get to the point as quickly as possible. When people click on your video, they're not your mom, they're not your aunt, they're not like rooting for you, and that's totally fine. They're just trying to get something for themselves. So just getting to the point and keeping in as much humor and entertainment and everything as you possibly can, but just the essentials, I think was good. I'm actually now trying to let myself breathe a little more in my editing. But it's hard when you can't talk in front of camera because you have to cut a lot of dumb stuff out. And then this is my final 2 cents. You have to just trust your taste because there's a lot of people telling you what to do. There's a lot of gurus out there. Like I said earlier, it's hard to know what other people might want, but you know what you like, especially if you watch a lot of YouTube. So just trusting that your intuition is probably right for somebody, and that somebody is probably kind of like you because they might have like the same sense of humor or the same interests, and they will find you because that's the magic of large numbers. The internet can be a beautiful thing sometimes. And I see a lot of videos that are like, YouTube changed my life after 3 months, and I don't know if I'd go that far, but I do think if anything, YouTube has changed my relationship to myself. I think I've garnered more self-trust, trusting that my ideas are good enough, trusting that I'm not going to make a fool of myself, trusting the vision in my head. And I think that has definitely been a point of growth. What is the future of this channel now that it's been a year? I cannot believe this channel grew to 10,000 subscribers in 1 year. I had a big scary goal of getting monetized the first year, which is like 1,000 subscribers. And so it blew me out of the water. I just want you to know that I'm grateful you're here and I'm grateful that you care. And I bet we'd be friends. I am enjoying the process of trying out all these different formats. There's sort of these classic YouTube formats like the sit and chat or the video essay or the vlog style room transformation. And every time I try a new one, I'm just like, this is so fun to try to learn how to tell a story in this way. Yeah, I'm just like a little bit shocked and bewildered for sure that anybody's paying attention. But I feel like I'm at this critical point where I could just crawl into a dark hole and never speak again, or I could just not worry about it and keep going and keep making stuff and see what happens. So I think I'll do the latter. So what do I think you should take away from this video? I think you should pay attention to what you're fearful of or jealous of, because there might be something bigger under the surface that's worth exploring. I think you should do the artist way. I think anyone should do the artist way, because you will learn something about yourself and it could possibly change your life. No matter what kind of art you create, I think finishing the loop by fully sharing it with other people, maybe on the internet, maybe off the internet, closes the loop of the creative cycle. And it's an important part of it rather than just to create in a silo. So thanks for listening to me babble, and I hope you're done folding all your laundry.